The number of positive COVID-19 cases in Arkansas just keeps on rising, and now deaths are reported in the state. Good evening, I'm Jennifer Piñate.
And I'm Chad Mira. Thanks for joining us tonight at 6. 2 COVID-19 related deaths have been reported in Arkansas. A 91-year-old man at the KNWA Regional Health Center died early this morning, according to the Faulkner County Coroner's Office. Arkansas Secretary of Health, Dr. Nate Smith, announced the second death during a news conference this afternoon. He said that a person was in his or her 50s. Neither patient was in a nursing home facility.
Arkansas now with a total of 230 cases of COVID-19. Here's a breakdown. According to the State Health Secretary, Dr. Smith, there are at least 11 children, 73 people 65 or older, 134 between the ages of 19 and 64. Currently, 14 people are hospitalized, 6 are on ventilators, and 10 people have recovered. According to the State Department of Health, more than 1,100 people have been tested for the virus in Arkansas. 947 of those tests have come back negative.
Today, President Donald Trump said he'd like to see businesses back open by Easter. But Governor Asa Hutchinson thinks we still have a ways to go. When asked about the president's comments today, Governor Hutchinson said he didn't hear the president's remarks, but believes he's speaking in a hopeful manner.
I think we'd all love to see life back to normal by Easter. Do I think that's going to happen? As I've indicated before, we're still on the lower end of this upswing, and I think we're going to see more cases. We're going to see more disruption.
Referencing the economic impact, President Trump has expressed concern that the cure right now could end up being worse than the virus. There are no plans to close down more businesses in Arkansas for now. Governor Asa Hutchinson said people have asked him why he doesn't close down all business or issue a shelter-in-place order. Today, he explained he doesn't want businesses closed for months unnecessarily.
If you go further and close more, when do you open them up when you know that we're going to be in this situation for 8 to 12 weeks, even before it starts peaking?
He said as some businesses remain open, people need to be mindful about social distancing.
Arkansas will have enough personal protective equipment for at least 2 months. That includes masks, gowns, and gloves for hospital workers. Governor Asa Hutchinson said the state got 24 pallets of PPE this morning. That includes almost 28,000 masks. The state has also expected 1 million units to start arriving this weekend. Hutchinson said that is enough to last 60 days if the usage rate does not change.
If the positive cases, the hospitalizations increase, then the consumption and the usage rate will rise, and that will last for a shorter period of time.
Governor Hutchinson says the state will still has time to build a stockpile that may be needed in the future. In more local news, concerns about some staff and residents not being tested at the Apple Creek Health and Rehab Center in Centerton after one patient tested positive for the novel coronavirus. Our Jesse Pierce spoke to a representative from the Arkansas Department of Health and joins us live in studio now. And Jesse, what did you learn?
Well, Jennifer, I reached out to the ADH after someone at the facility told us not everyone was being tested, even upon request. That person did not want to be identified.
Up there every day. I go up to make sure she's eating, just checking on her.
Philip Dugan checks on his 75-year-old mother, Elaine, daily. She's been at the Apple Creek Health and Rehab Facility in Centerton since August. The nursing home has suspended all in-person visits because of the coronavirus pandemic.
And I started going to her window and having the nurses open the shades and stuff, and we talk on the phone and about hold signs up or whatever. And it's really tough on a lot of them up there.
Dugan says he had some concerns about his mother after a patient there tested positive for the virus on March 20th. Dr. Naveen Patil with the Arkansas Department of Health says since then, a total of 20 residents and 12 medical staff members have all tested negative.
So we are testing based on priority. Who are the people who are taking care of sick patients? Who are the healthcare workers who are in contact with the positive patient? We have to plan it out and test everybody. There
are dozens of tests pending and over 100 more residents and staff who still need to be tested.
We have limited capacity of testing. We are doing it in installments. Throughout the state, we are staggering testing in the nursing homes.
Patil says he hopes to have all of the resident and medical staff completed within the next few weeks. Dugan says his mother hasn't been tested yet, but the nursing home staff has done a good job keeping him updated.
staff has been super, comforting them, trying to explain the best they can. And that's, I mean, it's a sad deal. I think everybody's ready for it to be over.
Dr. Patil says at this point there has only been one positive case at Apple Creek. If any more test results come back positive, they will increase the amount of tests they do daily to check everyone as fast as possible. Live in studio, Jesse Pierre, KNWA Northwest Arkansas News.
The city of Fayetteville implements more limitations due to COVID-19. Mayor Lionel Jordan made the announcement today to help slow the spread of the virus in the community, including the closure of city park amenities like basketball courts, playgrounds, water fountains, and any other amenity where social distancing is not observed. The ban on disposable single-use polystyrene foam products scheduled to start May 1st has been pushed back to July 1st. Fayetteville Police will increase its presence on city trails and in parks to encourage compliance with social distancing and trail safety. For the full list of the additional limitations, head to our website, nwahomepage.com. Bentonville Parks and Recreation Department announces it'll close all amenities until further notice as well. Parks and Rec Director David Wright says that includes rec centers, public restrooms, and basketball and volleyball courts. Wright says officers will patrol the areas more frequently. He also says fencing has been put up around playgrounds to keep large groups out. The trails will remain open, and Wright encourages everyone to follow the social distancing guidelines.
It's quiet around here. It drives a lot of us crazy. We're ready to see kids back in the parks. We're ready to see people back in our swimming pools and our rec centers. But we know that in their best interest, it's just not the right time for that.
Wright says he doesn't know when everything will reopen, but all updates will be posted on the city's social media page and website.
I cannot stress this enough, and how important it is for all of us to work together to combat this COVID-19 crisis.
Mayor Jerry Martin of Alma confirmed the first positive test for COVID-19 in Crawford County is an Alma resident. The mayor reminds people that fighting COVID-19 is a group effort and suggests to businesses to stop hosting events geared to drawing a large amount of people. A River Valley food bank helping serve hundreds of families in the River Valley, and now it's asking for your help. Tracy Engel with the River Valley Regional Food Bank says right now, due to COVID-19 restrictions, several area food banks have suspended their operations, and the few that have remained open are struggling to gather resources like volunteers and donations.
So we do have some of even our bigger pantries that have closed due to their volunteers being elderly or having an underlying condition that they just can't be around the public. So it's putting a strain on those pantries that are open in the community right now, and they're seeing a bigger need.
If you can and want to donate, head over to our website for more information on how to do so. That's nwahomepage.com. Clinical trials for drugs that may combat COVID-19 are underway. Why some health experts are worried the trials may not work. But first, let's take a look at your weather with meteorologist Rick Catsby, and a beautiful day out there after a little bit of rain overnight.
That's right, Jennifer. It is beautiful out there now. Looks like another nice day for your Wednesday. We'll show you that forecast coming up next.
You're watching KNWA News at 6 with Jennifer Peñate, Chad Mira, Chief Meteorologist Dan Scott, and your Pig Trail Nation report with Drew Ammon. Closed captioning is sponsored by Air Control. KNWA News is brought to you by Lewis Automotive Group, home of the ultimate challenge.
That roll of the dice. That thrill when you know winning is on the edge of your seat. Hit the button. Boom. Let it happen. Your chance is better here than anywhere else. It's a choice I make to play the casino that has paid out more than $1 billion. Downstream. Better odds to win.
When we face adversity, we find a way through it. It's about taking care of each other. It's the small parts that make a big difference. At Chevy, we promise to do ours. We're offering Chevy owners complimentary OnStar Crisis Assist services and Wi-Fi data. If you need a new Chevy, interest-free financing for 84 months with deferred payments for 120 days on many of our most popular models. You may even shop online and take delivery at home. It's just our way of doing our part.
Everything in our garage is inspired
by our racing spirit. Race in for a great deal on the Honda Pilot. Only at the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event.
This is fun, isn't it?
It's a dirty job. And no one has more fun doing it.
I forgot to close my mouth.
Ellen's Game of Games, tonight on NBC.
My son is going to live a life without limits.
I am in love with you, Jack.
I can't believe you beat me to saying I love you.
This Is Us, tonight on NBC.
Now, your Weather Authority forecast with meteorologist Rick Catsby.
So from a gloomy morning to a beautiful afternoon, here's a look at what happened. This is a time lapse, and so there's the rain as it came into Northwest Arkansas. It came in fast and left just as quick. We had about a 3-minute window of some very heavy downpours with some gusts about 35, and then it just got nice, and it was just beautiful. About 9:30, the sun popped out, and what a nice spring day. And just look at that. Look at the trees. See all the different colors there we've got. And so with the colors of the trees that you see, well, of course, the tree pollen is a big culprit of why you may be sneezing, sniffling, or maybe with a runny nose. So pollen count is high. It's very high, and it will be high. Air quality is good. UV index tomorrow will be around 7, which is high. So we have a lot of sun coming for tomorrow. Here we have northwest winds at around 10 to even as high as 17 miles per hour sustained. So there's a cool front that's now blown in, and it's blowing in some slightly dry air, but it's only very temporary. 64 Bentonville, 68 degrees in Fayetteville, 63 Siloam, with mainly sunshine and some clouds. The clouds are especially further north. 77 right now, Fort Smith, 79 degrees in Boonville. They made it to the low 80s here in many parts of the River Valley. So here's a look at that cold front now into central Arkansas. A couple low pressures around that cool front. Heavier storms here to the east from Nashville back into eastern parts of Mississippi. We'll zoom in on that, though, and show you what the cold front's doing. Just south of Little Rock, that is headed toward Pine Bluff. Some scattered thunderstorms there. Again, they're moving off to the southeast. Not severe at this time. They're just dropping some heavy downpours. And so tonight, we will clear our skies. The clouds that are out there now will give way. Once the sun goes down, they'll move out. But the low fog will probably arrive towards sunrise tomorrow morning. So patchy valley fog in some spots. Could be dense. Some potential for some dense fog in some locations. It'll burn off fairly quickly with that late March sun. And the highs tomorrow will reach the lower 70s to probably upper 70s coming. And notice the winds south. So today they're northwest. Tomorrow they'll be south at 15. So the wind just kind of goes all over the place here when you have a front that drops in and drops back to the north. And then as we go into Thursday, a warmer start with south winds at 18. So it's going to be a breezy Thursday. Already upper 50s, low 60s in the area on Thursday morning, rising into the low to mid 80s. These updated temperatures here show temperatures 82, 83, 84. So northwest Arkansas, 87 to possibly as high as 89. I don't think it will touch the 90-degree mark, but it is close, which is amazing. We are still in March, so unlike March temperatures on the way. 72 for tomorrow's high temperature after some morning fog and sunshine afternoon. High clouds on Thursday, high temperature, a very warm and humid 83. And now that will lead to some chances for thunderstorms. We're still on the warm side of this system, but the cold front drops in, sets off some storms, and during the heat of the day, they're coming the way one of the models shows. And humidity will be high as well, so there's some potential for some severe weather Friday afternoon, Friday evening. And then again on Saturday morning, good chances for showers and thunderstorms. Then we cool off behind it. We'll get sunshine on Saturday afternoon and Sunday. High temperatures in the 60s. River Valley forecast shows temperatures rising upper 70s tomorrow, upper 80s on Thursday, and there's that chance for scattered showers and storms on Friday into Saturday. Again, possibility of some severe weather because of the timing of the storms coming in. We'll monitor that and update that forecast as we get closer to it. Otherwise, enjoy the very nice weather coming next couple days, guys.
Yes, maybe go on a walk. Social distancing, of course. 6 feet away, but still go on a walk. That sunshine is going to be so nice.
Yes, I see a lot of people out walking now. Today was one of those days where they were all out, so
yeah, today's great. Idea. Our whole family run around, including the dog, going crazy in the yard.
That's right, yeah.
No doubt. Thanks, Rick.
Okay.
Taking a look at sports now, Drew Ammon joins us from the Pig Trail Nation set. What's going on today, Drew?
Well, we're going to hear from some former Razorbacks with the Tokyo 2020 Olympics postponed until 2021, and some basketball news to pass along. Guard Jalen Harris moving on from Arkansas. We'll tell you about J5's plans next on the Pig Trail.
How technology is keeping Northwest Arkansas ahead of child predators. Thursday on KNWA News at 10.
Are you the last one to take a shower in the morning? No hot water? Never run out of hot water again. Steve's Plumbing, 479-631-8804, installs tankless water heaters. Mention this ad and receive $100 off installation.
Where's my sandwich?
This used to be our home.
Not anymore. Why didn't I call a tree service that was fully insured?
You should have called Brown's.
Oh, I know.
The overwhelming majority of tree trimming companies are lying about having full insurance. Don't make yourself vulnerable for a lawsuit. Even a small injury claim can cost the homeowner in the hundreds of thousands. Require proof of insurance for general liability and workman's comp. And keep yourself out of court. Brown's Tree Care, protecting you since 1964. Trim it down with Brown.
A lot has changed overnight, but Buick and GMC's commitment to you remains the same. We understand you want to feel safe, so we're offering current owners complimentary OnStar Crisis Assist services. Should you need a vehicle, we're offering 0% financing for up to 84 months with deferred payment options for 120 days. Plus, you may have the option to shop online and take delivery at home. Visit our websites for the help you need. Buick and GMC, we're here to help.
Only your locally owned Cub Cadet dealer has genuine parts, accessories, trained service technicians, and the widest selection of innovative Cub Cadet products. We're here for you whenever you need us, with expert service and support to keep your equipment running at peak performance for years to come. Take advantage of exceptional financing at your local Cub Cadet dealer today. To find a dealer near you, visit CubCadetDealers.com.
Are you the last one to take a shower in the morning? No hot water? Never run out of hot water again. Steve's Plumbing, 479-631-8804, installs tankless water heaters. Mention this ad and receive $100 off installation.
Now, from Fayetteville, high on the hill, this is your Pig Trail Nation Report. Sponsored by Crane Automotive Team.
Jalen Harris leaving Arkansas. J5 announced on Twitter he is entering the NCAA transfer portal as a grad transfer after 3 years in the Razorback program. Harris, quote, "Thank you to my teammates who have supported me along the way. A special thank you to the coaches for believing in me and pushing me to get better every day." He also thanked the fans for their unwavering support. Says he will cherish playing in the Bud forever. J5 left New Mexico's program, had to sit out the 2017-18 season, then played the past 2 years. The Wilson, North Carolina native, second for Arkansas with 76 assists last season. By the way, the Hogs have added a Conference USA member to the non-conference schedule for 2020-21, hosting ODU. The Monarchs finished in a tie for 6th in their league this past season. Arkansas's overall record 20-12, and Eric Musselman's first season, ODU finished 13-19. The Tokyo Olympics officially postponed until 2021 in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic. The International Olympic President and Prime Minister of Japan saying the games need to be rescheduled. Originally, July 24th marked day one the 2020 games, and even though they must go on at a date no later than the summer of 2021, they'll still be known as the Olympic and Paralympic Games Tokyo 2020. Former Razorback Jarian Lawson on the decision.
I think it was the right thing to do, considering, you know, a bunch of athletes were scattered, and not just track, you know, swimming, other sports. We're scattered, and universities were closed, and so a bunch of athletes weren't able to train and have their normal routine. So I think it was the best thing to do just for the sports overall.
So we got you that reaction from a speedster and long jumper who competed in Rio in 2016, now to Peyton Chadwick, who turned pro in 2019.
Athletes were sent a survey on what they think should be done, and they presented that to the IOC. And I chose for it to be 2021 just because last year the athletes were training all the way till October. It was a long time. And this year I don't think everybody wanted to do that, especially with no access to facilities or anything. So initially I kind of knew that was going to happen.
Full interview with Peyton can be found on hogville.net. That is with our Alyssa Orange. I caught up with Jerry and Lawson, so that full interview on there as well. More news coming up after this.
Brought to you by your Northwest Arkansas Hyundai dealers.
Have you heard? Tempur-Pedic sleep is better sleep.
With innovative memory foam developed by NASA, Tempur-Pedic mattresses reduce motion transfer,
Which means less tossing and turning so you can sleep undisturbed through the night.
But which Tempur-Pedic is right for you? Come to Denver Mattress and test for yourself.
Let our expert sales staff guide you to your perfect Tempur-Pedic. And right now, get a free Furniture Row gift certificate when you purchase any Tempur-Pedic.
Shop Denver Mattress today, your Tempur-Pedic elite retailer.
Mel Harris Company proudly serves Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley and has thousands of happy customers.
I absolutely love everything about Mel Harris Company. I couldn't be more pleased.
During our spring special, receive free guttering with the purchase of roofing, siding, or windows. Plus, we offer several financing options such as 100% financing, delayed payments, or 18 months no interest.
As a special bonus, call or text now for your free Android tablet with an estimate. Call Mel Harris Company now at 1-800-NEW-ROOF or text us at the number on the screen.
Hey.
Really? Hi, guys.
We like the gray. If now's the time you need something you can depend on, Nissan is here with special savings on popular models like the award-winning Rogue and Altima. Get 0% financing for 60 months on the 2020 Nissan Rogue, plus no payments for 90 days. You can depend on Nissan now.
Take your room to the next level at Tucker's Furniture and Appliance. Need a little R&R? Need to relax, recline, and unwind? Tucker's has recliners for $283. Power recliners from $491. Roomy reclining sofas only $691. Power reclining sofa or console sofa with power headrest. Your choice, just $893. Perfect for a little R&R. Rest and relaxation has never been easier. Chic style, playful colors and textures. Motion furniture that's just plain prettier and comfier. That's Tucker's Furniture and Appliance.
Next, ET.
The stars come out to play on ET.
Let's go! Celeb guest hosts work every night of the week.
Say my name, say my
Only
name.
on ET.
So good. Right here on KNWA. You're watching KNWA News at 6.
Clinical trials begin today for drugs that might be helpful treating coronavirus symptoms.
KNWA's Joe Khalil reports that some health experts worry we may run out of their supply before we even know whether they're successful in combating the virus.
There's already a shortage of key drugs that might treat coronavirus symptoms, and the FDA isn't even sure if they work yet.
What that has meant, however, is that right now the supply chain channels are depleted of both of these products.
Shomi Saha with healthcare company Premium Inc. says demand among hospitals for the drugs hydroxychloroquine and chloroquine have gone up 300 and 3,000% respectively.
But these drugs are used to treat existing medical conditions like rheumatoid arthritis and lupus. If hospitals order them in large quantities preparing for coronavirus patients, those who need them now may suffer.
They may start having some difficulty obtaining these products.
Saha says mass producing more of these drugs won't be easy. The active pharmaceutical ingredients in them come from overseas.
There may be spot shortages. We're keeping an eye on that.
FDA Director Stephen Hahn says if the drugs can treat the coronavirus, his agency will work with the federal government to produce them quickly.
Trying to increase with manufacturers production, both domestic producers as well as international.
They're relatively safe medications, so there's probably no downside.
Congressman Ami Bera is cautiously optimistic about the drug trials, but he says because they're in short supply, they should be prescribed carefully.
If in fact we see positive results with this, we have to prioritize the use of these medications for hospitalized patients.
The FDA wants these trials to be a top priority as the coronavirus continues to spread.
In Washington, I'm Joe Khalil, KNWA Northwest Arkansas News.
All right, taking a live look outside. The sun's still shining out there. It turned out to be a very beautiful day across Northwest Arkansas, but how long will that last?
Well, let's hope it's here to stay. Meteorologist Rick Catsby back after the break.
Bud Anderson Home Services, your one-stop shop for home comfort.
My money should work as hard as I do. That's why I use my Freedom Unlimited card to buy heavier weights online. Got it. Go time.
With Freedom Unlimited, you're always earning.
I should purchase lighter weights.
All your Cracker Barrel favorites, like our Golden Country Fried Steak, our Scratch-Made Buttermilk Pancakes, and our signature chicken and dumplings, are made in our home to enjoy in yours. Come on home with Cracker Barrel to go.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and everyone is flocking to FFO Home. This spring, complete your comfort zone with a hot new line from Lane. The Lewis sectional creates space for the whole family for only $8.98. Relax and recline in the Joseph sofa, just $7.98. Or take a load off after a long day on the hot new Bellamy sofa for $4.98. Spring into savings by taking advantage of these great deals. Reinvent your living room with 0% financing and the lowest prices guaranteed.
Mel Harris Company proudly serves Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley and has thousands of happy customers.
I absolutely love everything about Mel Harris Company. I couldn't be more pleased.
During our spring special, receive free guttering with the purchase of roofing, siding, or windows. Plus, we offer several financing options such as 100% financing, delayed payments, or 18 months no interest.
As a special bonus, call or text now for your free Android tablet with an estimate. Call Mel Harris Company now at 1-800-NEW-ROOF or text us at the number on the screen.
Hey.
Really? Hi, guys.
We like the gray.
If now's the time you need something you can depend on, Nissan is here with special savings on popular models like the award-winning Rogue and Altima. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on 12 models, plus no payments for 90 days. You can depend on Nissan now.
In these uncertain times, Stanley Steamer remains your trusted partner in clean. We are prepared and equipped to get your space back to clean and healthy again. If your employees, students, or congregation are at home, now is the perfect time for a deep cleaning from Stanley Steamer.
So here we go for a beautiful day for tomorrow. High temperature 72 after some morning patchy fog. Could be some dense fog in some locations. 56 the low on Wednesday night. Thursday morning, a mild start. Look at that, 83 degrees the high temperature on Thursday. Warm, summer-like out there. And also higher humidity. That will lead to chances for some stronger storms as we go into Friday afternoon. We'll monitor that for you next couple days and update this forecast as it gets closer to us. And then a little bit cooler for the weekend with highs in the 60s. So all in all, guys, tomorrow looks great. Beautiful.
Yeah, the nice weather, a silver lining amid all of this coronavirus.
Yeah, we could use it.
Yes,
no doubt.
could.
Well, that's our time here at 6. We'll see you back here at 10.